Good afternoon, everyone. It's David Schlotthauer here on Friday, March 10th, 2023. In this video, we have a lot to digest. First, we're going to be talking about the West as everyone is getting ready for another powerful atmospheric river. There's already devastating flooding going on in Central California, where there's a high risk for significant flooding that is forecasted by the Weather Prediction Center. And then we're going to be looking at a big nor'easter for the East Coast by early next week that could also lead to a lot of problems. So first things first, I do want to look at the water vapor imagery because there's a lot more moisture coming across California over the next almost 7 days. Can you believe it? The next 7 days, we could be talking about some periods of heavy rainfall and more significant flooding, which we don't need at this point. We have had way too much rainfall, but unfortunately, nature wants to give us too much rainfall. So looking at water vapor, we can see why we are seeing a lot of this subtropical moisture streaming in from the southwest from Hawaii, and that's because we have a low pressure just parked here, okay? And then to the north of that, we have this big high pressure system that is locked in place. We have a low pressure here moving out of Washington and Oregon into the northern Rockies. That's helping to propagate this atmospheric river of moisture. But unfortunately, due to the fact that we have this low pressure system that is slowly inching closer, a lot of this moisture, I'm afraid, is going to be streaming right back northward across central and northern California, where the high risk for flash flooding and heavy rainfall is. And that's why the WPC has issued a high risk for heavy rainfall and flooding for the coastal mountains of California, including for the Sierra Nevadas, especially southward near Bakersfield, Southern California, under a moderate risk for heavy rainfall and flooding. As matters of fact, there is an evacuation emergency due to significant flooding in the Bakersfield, in, say, Pescadero, southward into the Big Sur coastline, high wind warnings. I mean, this is really, really bad for California. And again, we have had way too much rainfall, and sadly, it's not ending anytime soon. We're getting ready for another powerful atmospheric river for Saturday, and especially for Monday into Tuesday, which again could deliver an additional 3 to 6 inches of additional rainfall, with some areas that might get almost another foot. So timing out the Pineapple Express on the latest European model for Saturday morning, March the 11th, 2023, and we can see little bit of a break. Not so bad, right? We have a few scattered showers about, some of that Pineapple Express, that atmospheric river moisture streaming in from the west, but it's going to get more widespread by the time we get into Saturday afternoon. So this is right around 1 p.m. on Saturday for California, and we can see some light to moderate rainfall kind of moving across the region. We got more showers and thunderstorms potentially for Washington and Oregon, but this is not it. It's only going to get more widespread. Let's go forward in time. By Sunday morning, we still got showers, and especially by Sunday afternoon, it might get a little bit more heavier. Actually, this is Sunday morning when anyone is going to church or doing anything outdoors. We're just seeing more rainfall, more gusty winds that are anticipated, and look at that, more snowfall for the mountains of the Sierra. So that's good news. The rain is not going to let up. When it starts on Saturday, it's just going to be showery from time to time. This continues even through Monday afternoon, okay, ahead of a much stronger system on the European model. And this is, again, coming from the Euro, and it's looking pretty strong. Look at this. By 2 in the morning on Tuesday, we start seeing the first initial bands of heavier rainfall arriving in the northern Sacramento Valley, the North Bay, the Central Bay. If you're in Eureka, Ukiah, if you're in Crescent City, it's going to be raining there very hard by Monday afternoon into Tuesday morning. And look at this. Look at the rainfall. It's going to be coming down really hard. High elevation snow, so more additional snow melt that will lead to more river flooding, small creeks, stream flooding, urban flooding. There's going to be a lot of problems. I would not be surprised if they extend the flood watch all the way through now, possibly into Tuesday afternoon or even into early Wednesday morning. That's an entire 6 days ahead of us with some moderate to heavy rainfall. And this continues all the way into Wednesday morning with scattered showers around through perhaps Wednesday afternoon before skies hopefully will dry out. But what a rough period ahead California is about to face because of how much rainfall is going to be falling. Here's a look at the 5-day rainfall totals. I just kind of wanted to show you all into perspective of how much rainfall could be falling through the 5-day period. I mean, some of the mountains here of the Sierras could see as much as 3 to 8 inches of rainfall. Some of the coastal ranges could see much more. Now, if we look at the WPC rainfall total forecast, we can clearly see, if we zoom in, look at some of the mountainous terrain here. Right below the snow line, could see an additional as much as, say, 6 to almost 10 inches of additional rain yet to come. All right, that is a lot of rainfall. Even on the NBM, the National Blend Model, we're also looking at quite a bit of moisture. So again, there's going to be a lot more flooding on the way, unfortunately. And I hate to use that word, flooding, but hey, we are getting too much rain, the grounds are oversaturated, and they're not able to take any more water. So runoff is the only thing that can happen. And when you get a lot of runoff, you get a lot of flooding. And in such cases, you can get landslides, mudslides, and debris flows from wildfire burn scar areas. So just keep that in mind. If you're living on a hillside, definitely want to be aware. Snowfall totals for the Sierra, additional snowfall in the next 5 days. That's when a lot of our moisture is going to be coming in as an additional possibly 180 inches. But again, if you use the 10-to-1 ratio, the non-Kachira, possibly an additional 100 plus inches of snowfall yet to come all the way through Wednesday morning. Might even add a little bit more to that all the way through Wednesday afternoon. So tons and tons of flooding, heavy snow, a lot of problems to speak of when it comes to California weather. Also, winter storm warnings issued here and blizzard warnings. Looking at the National Weather Service alerts map, very wild out west. I mean, as wild as it can possibly get. Probably not as bad as January, but still extremely, extremely bad. Nevertheless, we got flood warnings, high wind warnings, flood watches, emergency flood warnings. We just got a lot going on in California. That's why the governor of California has issued a state of emergency because of all the flooding and disasters that is occurring. When we take a look now at, I showed this at the beginning, the day one excessive rainfall outlook is top scale high risk right here. We got pink colors. This is not just for the pretty, okay? This is bad, okay? High risk for flooding in the coastal range mountains in the Sierras with a moderate risk for flooding elsewhere and a slight risk for flooding in my area. So we're dealing with more rainfall that is anticipated throughout the day today, with more rainfall that is anticipated on for Saturday into Sunday. That's why there's a marginal and slight risk for flooding across California. Not to mention, there's also a slight risk for flooding over Arkansas, northern Mississippi, and southwestern Tennessee, including there for a marginal risk for flooding and heavy rainfall for northern Alabama. So you're going to get your fair share of some flood potential as well. Day 3, that marginal risk for flooding goes into Georgia and the rest of Alabama. This is Sunday into Monday with a slight risk for flooding for California. Of course, going to be on the higher end scale here. Always takes the cake when it comes to flood concerns. All right, but guess what? That's not where it ends. Let's take a look at day 4. There's a day 4 moderate risk for heavy rainfall. Let's zoom this in so you all can see it there. Yes, another moderate risk for heavy rainfall and flooding for Northern California. This spreads for day 5 across the rest of California. 5 days out, there is moderate confidence for heavy rainfall and flooding to occur yet again over Central and Northern California. including for the Sierra foothills due to more snow melt and heavy rainfall. So just the next 5 days could be really rough here, and I would not be surprised, if they issue a marginal risk for day 6 later on with some residual showers that are expected. So now that we talked a lot about California and the Intermountain West, it's a good idea to also talk about the eastern half of the nation, because you all are gearing up for a couple of big snowstorms, okay? A nor'easter that could develop by the early part of next week across New York, much of New York, as well as, say, the New England area could get quite a bit of snow. So let's kind of time this through. First of all, we're dealing with snow over portions there of New York and Pennsylvania. That snowstorm is going to be out of here by tomorrow morning. So again, if you're doing anything outdoors, actually more so like tomorrow late morning, early afternoon, that thing is out of here. Dry conditions, a nice reprieve before the next system comes on in. So again, some snow expected through Saturday morning and afternoon for portions of the Northeast like New York and Pennsylvania, and then another system over here on the side of the screen going to bring in more light to moderate snowfall. As this propagates eastward, you can see Michigan, northern portion there, or much of, say, Indiana, Ohio. If you're in, say, Wisconsin, Minnesota, northern Illinois, you're going to get some light snowfall rates here, anywhere between about snowfall totals maybe about an inch to maybe a few inches expected. Further south, it's all rain. If you're in Tennessee, that's where our slight risk for flooding does come from. Maybe some freezing rain in some of the valley locations there of the Appalachians, including for, say, portions there of northwestern North Carolina, as well as western, not west Virginia, but western half of the state here. Not to confuse you, because they all sound familiar or similar in a way. All right, now that kind of propagates further eastward with not much of a problem. Some light snow flurries here and there through Monday. But it's when we get into Monday afternoon, just like we have here by Monday afternoon here, we're going to be dealing with our big, massive storm system. Very strong winds anticipated with that one, along to go with the nor'easter across the northeast. So it's kind of a coast-to-coast battle zone of strong winds, heavy snow. It's just going to be rough. The midsection, better off with the quiet weather, but cold, but better. So by Tuesday morning, for your morning commute, snow is going to be coming down pretty hard for northern New Jersey. If you are in Pennsylvania, look at that. For Buffalo and, well, not really for Buffalo, but mainly for Albany, New York, Syracuse, New York, woof! It is going to be snowing pretty stinking hard there. If you are in, say, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, really intense snowfall rates, possibly over an inch an hour, actually maybe a few inches an hour perhaps, and that's really going to be a big problem, especially from early Tuesday morning all the way through much of the day Tuesday. There's going to be a lot of snow problems, very strong winds, and we'll get to those in just a second. Snowfall totals with storm number 1, you're looking at maybe 4 to 8 inches of snow, maybe a foot or so near the Buffalo, New York area due to the lake enhancement of snow that is anticipated. Yes, the lakes are not frozen over. It's a record warm winter for the Great Lakes, so nothing was able to kind of freeze. So looking at additional snowfall for that second system by Tuesday, look at this. You're going to have nearly about 4 to 8 inches of snow before the storm comes, and then you might as well finish off here with snowfall totals that could be 2 to 4 feet. All right, now depending on what kind of conversion you use, the 10:1 ratio, going for about 30 to maybe 35 inches with the Cheackout snow amounts, possibly as much as 35 to 45 inches. In this case, even 50 inches right there. That is a lot of snow in a short amount of time. There's going to be probably definitely winter storm warnings, maybe blizzard warnings due to the strong winds that are anticipated. And speaking of winds, well, let's take a look at the wind forecast. This is Monday afternoon. Let's go into Tuesday morning. You could see winds anywhere between 15 to 25 miles an hour. They get a lot stronger by Tuesday afternoon, blowing that snow around. Winds could be anywhere anywhere between 20 to 30 miles an hour with wind gusts that could be on the order of about 30 to 50 miles an hour. So some blowing snow, some reduced visibilities, definitely a nor'easter in mid-March. You don't expect that this time of the year. Well, you kind of do, but you start looking towards warmer weather, nice tranquil weather usually, but no, it's going to be snowy instead. It's going to be the opposite of tranquil weather. Unless you're a snow lover, I know you all haven't seen snow this year, so you're probably going to love this storm more than anything, but please be careful if you can. So now that we talked about our nor'easter for the Northeast for Monday through Wednesday next week, why don't we take a look at severe weather? There's a slight risk for severe weather over Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, due to some large hail. So this is driven by only a 2% chance of tornadoes. Not a big risk for any big tornadic outbreak here. We're looking at a 5% chance for strong winds. It's going to be driven by that large hail, and it's significant. We could see 2+ inch hail stones out of this passing weather system over Arkansas as well as eastern Oklahoma. Sometimes I got to love pivotal weather when they do not update their day 3 outlook like the SPC does. So lovely on that part of my video. So yeah, day 3, you can see a slight risk for severe weather. It's almost in the same spot, but why not? There's a day 3 out there for southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, and southern Georgia. Slight risk for severe weather. Good news, we're not putting thumbs down on this. We're putting thumbs up that it is not significant, but thumbs down because there is severe weather. So if you're going out and about for the latter part of the weekend, watch the skies. You might see some spin-ups, might see some large hail and damaging winds out of this. So yes, it's not super severe, but it is definitely a severe weather day to say the least for the southeastern U.S. Okay, so when thunder roars, go indoors. Okay, you know the drill, because I won't ask you again, right? So, well, before I do in the video, I absolutely have to promote this to you all because you guys are awesome, and I feel like it's a good idea that you guys join the WeatherForce WX weather website. It is 100% free to join today, no cost whatsoever. If you guys want to participate it is a very good weather website where you can see my blog posts, Evan's blog posts, and much more. All you have to do is sign up, go to the home feed, and that's where you could see our awesome posts. Hey, there you are, Abby Leonard. Awesome. I'll have to read that post actually. Be sure to check that out. It is really awesome. It's kind of like family here. You can see who has been posting my articles, Abby's articles, EJ, Evan James articles, even Multi-Relic, and I can name all of them out there. So if you really want to participate in this, it is 100% free. It is great. It's a very good website. But also, there's also something else you definitely want to participate in, and that is the WeatherForce Gilded server. If you guys want to participate in that, there's a link in the description below this video. These are all free. There's no cost whatsoever. I'm not here for the money. I'm here to share my weather education with you all, with the forecast and much more, but also to hang out, to have a lot of fun. So if you guys want to participate, it's 100% free to join the Gilded server as well as the WeatherForce WX weather website. It's great. All right, but until next time, I will see you back here in the next video. Peace.